Hey everyone! Today's video is going to be all about creating big pictures and how I plan them. I'm also going to announce secret giveaway winner somewhere in the middle of the video, so stay tuned if you want to know who won the picture. Okay, let's get into it. But be prepared, it's gonna be a pretty long video. First of all, before even sketching, I decide on what I'm going to draw. Is there going to be a character or a couple of them? What are they going to be doing and what environment to place them in? I usually have plenty of ideas to work with already, and it doesn't take much time for me to figure out what exactly I want to draw. After that starts the second part of planning, a lot of sketching and looking up reference if I need it. In my sketchbook you can see lots of different poses of Shiba Inu dog. He's going to be a part of the picture, so I wanted to figure out his anatomy first. I also have printed turnaround of my character Jaune. It will help me to draw her similar to the original design. Yeah, Shiba Inu dog and Jaune gonna be the characters, the main characters of this picture. Now the fun part, background. A while ago I went for a walk at San Mateo Central Park and was very lucky to visit their greenhouse. Usually it's open at some weird hours, so I haven't been there before. Since then, I really wanted to draw a picture with greenhouse or plant nursery. At that day I took tons of photos for reference. I prefer to take my own pictures because I can choose any angle I like, and it's so much easier than searching for the right photo online. Ideally, I'd like to have a lot of plant and gardening related artwork in future. That's why I never miss an opportunity to snap some shots on my phone of plants and especially succulents. Okay, now when I know what background is going to look like, I'm choosing the right picture for the reference. As I mentioned, I have tons of different angles of this beautiful place. I don't choose the front view of the room on purpose. It's too symmetric and looks plain to me. Also, I need to think where would I place my characters, and there's literally no space for them. Picture from a side looks about right. The light and perspective is nice too. Actually, the perspective is perfect for my future composition. Speaking of composition, I've mentioned in my other videos a couple of times, it's very important to plan your drawings the right way. You want your viewer to see focal point of your picture first. There are lots of different composition rules. I can make a whole another video about it if you're interested. But today I'm going to use the one called Rule of Thirds. It means I need to divide my paper in thirds and place focal points near or on the intersection of the lines. With ruler, of course. I need to build a base of the room first before adding all cute details, you know. After I planned background and added composition lines, I'm going to add characters to the picture. And here I need to think, what do I want viewer to see first, basically deciding on focal points. With practice I found that if drawing has a character, we usually tend to look at their face first. So I want my character Jaune to be in one of the focal points and place her head on top right intersection. Going down with her body, on the lower right intersection I place a plant which she's going to be holding in her hands. And the last focal point is going to be my Shiba Inu dog. I'm placing his head on lower left intersection and make a blob for the rest of the body, just so I would know where everything goes. Maybe it doesn't make sense for you right now, but you'll see how it will work at the end. Okay, once everything is planned on the paper and I'm happy with the composition, I will start the most tedious part, actually sketching all the details, characters, plants, and whatnot. Remember I mentioned patience? Yeah, you probably need it on every part of the drawing. I like my sketches to be very precise and usually don't skip anything until I'll be done. It will take a while. Also, don't forget to have some scrap paper under your hand, so you will not smudge or smear all your previous pencil work. I've seen people doing this part of sketching with graphite pencil, so it would be more visible. but I have my own habits and just draw everything with lavender pencil. I didn't want to cut a lot of footage out of this part, so you could also somehow imagine how long it takes for me to do it. When I'm filming, I try to draw only in first part of the day, and if the painting is going to be big, divide work between couple days. This one took me about 3 days to film. I think about 4 hours each day, maybe more, maybe 5. Anyway, first day I plan and sketch. On the second day I do initial outline and add most of the flat washes. And on the last day I add all the shadows and more outlined with ink if needed. I've decided to take you through all the parts of creating this big drawing to reduce the amount of questions about talent and how to do the art. And this is how I do it, with lots of work, art supplies, Red Bull and patience. If you have trouble with backgrounds or just drawing in general, I recommend you to start breaking the subject of your drawing into lines and simple shapes first. Make your rough sketches on scrap paper with blobs and rectangles and check if it looks right for you proportionally. For example, I see head of a character as an egg or bean. I divide it in parts where eyes, nose and ears will be before working on anything else. Proportionally correct drawing will look million times better than very detailed crooked ones. Basically, to create big and detailed picture, the first thing you need to have is patience. Work gradually, don't rush, plan and build the core of your picture. You may need to erase couple times maybe, no big deal, but please don't skip this stage. And while you watch, I hope you are still here. It's about time to announce secret potato giveaway winner. Unfortunately, I can't give you your favorite dish made of potatoes, but hopefully an original art from my previous video will make it up for you. So I've counted all of the cool kids in the Google spreadsheet. To be honest, I thought it's gonna be much less comments, and through the middle I was already regretting this decision. Next time I will think about better way to run a giveaway, for sure. Anyway, I've stopped counting on the last Friday and had 501 entry. Randomizer gave me number 50 and the winner of this giveaway is Julia. Yay! Congrats, girl! I assume you're a girl. Please send me an email with your mail address. My email is in About section on the YouTube. Or shoot me a DM here. Thanks everyone for participating. I've learned about so many delicious new foods, you have no idea. I hate my life right now. Back to art. Why do I do, as I call it, initial outline? First of all, I know that my pencil will blend and almost disappear once it's wet, so I want to still keep those details. And second, when you're going to be finishing your painting and decide to outline main parts or the ones that are closer to viewer, you'll still have pretty detailed but less distracting line art for everything else in background. This outline I usually do with brown or sepia multiliner number 0.05 or 0.03. Brand doesn't matter really, but I prefer to do it with Copic or Microns. They just need to be waterproof, that's it. You may also notice that this time I taped my paper to the chipboard. I usually don't do this because any art tape rips my watercolor paper, which is fluid hot press. But this time I decided to stick tape to my cloth before taping it a couple times, so it won't be as sticky. Spoiler, it still ripped the paper. Anyway, I taped it not for pretty borders, but because the paper itself was pretty big size, 12 by 16 inches. it's really hard to draw on it when it just lays flat on your table. There is a big chance to screw up perspective and proportions. And when it's taped to chipboard or on a clipboard, you can make it stand or even put on easel so you can see it from different angle. Trust me, you'll see the difference. The other thing I like to do to check if I didn't screw up is take a picture of my drawing on a phone and flip it horizontally. Just do it, but not at the last stage of drawing, when the damage is done and all you can do is just burn your art and regret being an artist. It's also easier to do the initial big wash of watercolor when paper is glued in a pad or taped to the board. When it dries, it will get flat and not buckle if you're lucky. Or it will, you never know. It didn't work for me today, so it's good. I do general wash with yellow and green colors on all the picture except characters to define the light in the greenhouse. Think of it as an Instagram filter, for example, that you put over your photos, but in watercolor art, you need to do it first before painting everything else. Once the wash is dry, I start with dark objects, such as beams on the roof, and go random from there. As I mentioned before, I do coloring of the characters closer to the end, when I'm done with the majority of background. Don't rush this part too. Do the base color to all the things in your drawing before adding shadows. Remember that objects in your picture are not separate things. Well, they are, but forget about it for a moment. You don't want every bead and piece stand out on its own and distract your eye. When we draw in backgrounds, every object should look organically and be a part of the environment you're creating. That means when you add in base color, pick only a couple of colors that are complementary or close to each other. With plants, it was pretty easy. If you look closely, they all seem very similar, but in reality, I made just different shades of green, mixing it with blue, brown, and purple. This way they look similar all together, but still a bit different, just like in real life. I also planned my palette ahead. I didn't make a color thumbnail like I usually recommend to do, but instead kept it in my mind, because I had a very clear idea on how it's gonna look in the end. So yeah, overall, I wanted my picture to be mostly green and earth tones, with a hint of some other color, which is going to be blue and red. As you know, these colors are complementary and will draw viewers' attention right away, especially when there's nothing standing out on background color-wise. And the final part is going to be adding thicker line art to the main objects, which also turned out to be closer to us. I give my characters' faces details, outline Jan's eyes, hair, well, you see it on a video, and my picture is practically done. Oh yeah, I do the line art here not with a pen, but with my tiny 4/0 Winsor Newton Cotman brush and Bombay ink by Dr. P.H. Martins. It's one of my favorite ink to work with, and it's also waterproof. I hope my explanation of the process helped you to understand how I plan and do my big pictures. But if you still have questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. I'll try to answer them if I can there or maybe in future videos. As always, I list all my supplies in the description. Please read it before asking what pencil or watercolor I used. It's very annoying to get the same question every day. I hope you understand that. Oh, and if you want to see the picture closer, check out my Instagram page. I'll make sure to post it once the video is up. Another thing that I should probably tell you is that if you want to see me drawing more often, you can follow me on Instagram. I stream there at least 2 or 3 times a week for 2 hours each time. I share sneak peeks of my art or show my sketchbook. We have just so much fun there during streams. So come over, it's fun. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you learned something or just enjoyed watching me drawing. And I guess see you next time. Bye!